I have a confession to make. My name is Vander Puchert, and this is Finding Frequency. And I have to keep in mind that I need to focus on the extraordinary, and yet there is a few extraordinary things of today to focus on. But what do I need to confess? I had a 2-hour-long nap today. And to be honest, I couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't function any further. Why? So after recording last night, a lot of things happened. I had to do a bunch of things. We also had a busy boy. I had some collaboration with Marta. And then also today I had a rather large presentation to a potential client. Yes, I am still in the sales air quotes phase of a project that has actually turned out to be quite a odyssey. I'm super grateful to be on this odyssey, but I joked to Marta, and I think I might have mentioned this in the previous episode, that I feel like I'm back in the management consulting space. And you know what? Between you and me, there's something exciting about it. I am a sucker. I am a real sucker for punishment. I remember in my advertising time, and then of course when I was working in the management consulting space, there's this kind of crunch time thing where, it's you need to finish a proposal. There's like the chase is on. You need to do a maximum amount of work in the minimum amount of time, and you're burning the candles at both ends. It's not healthy. It's not what you should be doing. But you end up in these situations for different reasons, for various reasons. And of course, for me, there's a learning. I should be. I'll tell you what I think my learning is out of this, and this is hopefully something that you already know, or maybe it's something that is new for you. But I managed to do it. We had a great meeting today with one of the senior clients, talking through our idea. It's fairly complex, and now we're on to a next stage. It's a bit frustrating because it feels like I'm not closing the deal to move forward. But then I also think that what's happening at the moment, and this is interesting too, I guess, is that I find it much easier to serve clients when there's a real need. And here the relationship and the amount of clients that I'm dealing with is a little bit more complex. So my direct client has a definite need that she needs to fulfill to do what she needs to do. But the stakeholders in the organization doesn't necessarily need what she needs. So it's kind of like I'm working with her to play the convince role. And I don't like convincing people about the need for something. You need to position it or at least present yourself in such a way that they feel like, hey, I need this. And I'm not entirely sure if we are hitting the mark there. And then what was my learning out of this after all these experiences, and it's probably going to bleed into next week as well, is that I think, number one, you probably have to set out the relationship. And I've seen this with my American counterparts, that they are far more critical and intense about setting down a relationship where there's a contract or some kind of collaboration from the get-go. I remember working last year with a consultant who was actually worked for Barack Obama. This guy was super, at least probably still alive and still is, dynamic. And he was willing to do a lot of things, very learned, lots of experience. And he would communicate with leadership, but once there is some point that, okay, I could help, then there is, okay, so do I send a contract? Where do we sign? How do we set up this collaboration? And I think there's something in that, because I think South African / maybe a little bit of Polish, because I've spoken to a few of my Polish counterparts, and of course also my experience from the firm here is we do a fair amount of work to try and sell an idea, and then you end up doing the actual production of the idea, where a lot of the strategy work was done in the sales phase, and then it's not even good strategy. Remember, it's just hypothetical and conceptual things you need to do. So I should know this, but you fall into this trap. But where is the extraordinary of the day? I think the extraordinary of the day is the fact that I could do this. But also going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. I am getting too old for this kind of stuff. I ended up snoozing on the couch because I didn't want to wake up the little one and Marta. And then after doing the presentation today and wrapping up a nice meeting with a lovely lady in Amsterdam who moved there from the States, having a really interesting conversation and then having the internet crash on me, it was kind of a sign from above to say, listen, go take a nap, old man. And it was one of the best snoozes I had in my life, honestly. But yeah, good times. And what's next? Well, I mean, I'm waiting for Francie to come back, and I'm kind of a little bit nervous that he's going to want to play. I want to go lie down again. Is that wrong? Yeah. Okay, so Poland's heading into Easter. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. I guess it's going to involve hanging out with father-in-law, who is now back from the hospital. I have not seen him yet. I've been nose down in doing things. He's doing well. He's mobile, relatively. A couple of nights ago, Marta had to rush out the door to go to her mother-in-law. I was running a virtual event, and why? Because father-in-law fell over. Nothing serious, but he couldn't get up, and it took my sister-in-law, Marta, and my mother-in-law to get him mobile again. So he's a little bit like a turtle at the moment, but he's kind of doing his thing. He's back at his business. Apparently, he made a showing there. He arrived, probably to fanfare, made his entrance, and I think he's been away for at least nearly a year, I think. So it's good to see that, or hear, in fact, that he's back, and I'll probably see him soon, and we'll get to hang out a little bit in these strange pandemia times. Strange. Well, that is it. And don't forget, well, I mean, it's going to be, you've probably fallen for it already, and I didn't even work something into this podcast, but it is April Fool's, so don't get caught like my dad. Thanks for listening.